In this problem, we're using the quadratic function f of x equals x plus 5 quantity squared plus 6. The first thing we want to do is find the vertex. So in this format, we know that if f of x equals x minus h squared plus k, then our vertex is the point h comma k. So we have x plus 5, which is the same thing as x minus a negative 5. So the x value of my vertex is negative 5, and then k is just the 6. So we've got our vertex. Now we can find our axis of symmetry. That's just going to be x equals whatever the x value of the vertex is. And you do need to give an equation. Really important, don't just write negative 5. Does this parabola open up or down? Well, the coefficient of the x squared term is going to be a positive 1, so it's going to open up. And if it opens up, that means the graph is going to look roughly like this, and that means we're going to have a minimum point. Okay. So now we're ready to do question 57. So this asks us to find the x-intercepts and the y-intercept and graph the function. Okay. Let's put that in place. I'm going to make this a little bigger. Oh, that's funny. Okay. So I'm going to erase that part so that we can work. Okay, so let's find our x-intercepts. That's where we set the function. Oops, it's x plus 5, quantity squared, plus 6 equals 0. So this is how we're going to find our x-intercepts. We let y equal 0. Okay, so if I subtract 6 from both sides, then I get x plus 5 squared equals negative 6. And if I take the square root of both sides, now I'm going to get the square root of a negative. So we have no real solution here. So there are no x-intercepts. Now I want my y-intercept. Well, the y-intercept is where x equals 0. So f of 0 is 0 plus 5 squared plus 6. And 5 squared is 25 plus 6 is 31. So we have 0, 31. And so that's just going to be right about there. Okay, so our vertex is negative 5, 6. That would be right about there. And I can put this function into my calculator to get a few more points. Let's see. I'm going to put in, negative 4 -3, -2, and -1. And let's see what we get. Okay, so I've calculated the y values that go with those. So we have -4, 7, still a little bit below the 8. -3, 10, could be a little bit above the 8. -2, 15, going to be just below 16. And -1, 22. So we'll be right about there. And so we can see this is forming a nice curve, like so. Now, one thing that I didn't put in is my axis of symmetry. So I'm going to put that in right now. And then I'm going to use that axis of symmetry to find some matching points. So if I'm at -6, the y value has to be the same as at -4. And then at -7, we would have to be here to match -3. And then for -8, we would be here. And for -9, we're going to be here. So you can see how those match across the axis of symmetry. And I plug in those points, and that's going to go off to infinity. So you want to make sure you fill in your graph completely and accurately. You can also use the table feature in your calculator. If you let y1 equal x plus 5 squared plus 6, then press second graph to go to the table, and you can get your list of points to graph. And that's how you do that problem.